Everyone. Today we are going to discuss about and learn this bhajan, Radhika Ashtakam. It is the author of this bhajan is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and it is taken from Govinda Lilamrita. And we will sing the verse, and then discuss the meaning verse by verse. कुङ्कुमाक्त कञ्चनाब्ज गर्वहारी. My voice is not good. Mataji, can you sing Krishna Veni Mataji? Each verse, and then I can we can discuss the meaning, and I can't sing right now.
Okay. Mataji, then you want me to sing your dhun or my dhun?
Yeah,
Any dhun is okay?
Anything will do, yeah.
I'll sing the simplest so that people can follow. Hare Krishna. कुङ्कुमाक्त काञ्चनाब्ज गर्वहारि गौरभा पीतनाञ्चिताब्ज गन्धकीर्तिनिन्दि सौरभा वल्लवीशसून सर्ववाञ्छितार्थ साधिका मह्यमात्मपाद पद्मदास्य दास्तु राधिका. Mataji, that first verse is done. I can't. Mataji, you're mute.
Hello? Yeah. So, kumkumakta, the word kumkum means the kumkum powder. So, her splendorous golden complexion steals the pride of a golden lotus flower anointed with a tinge of lotus flower, kumkum vermilion. She mocks the fame of the aroma of a lotus flower sprinkled with saffron flower powder. She is fully qualified to fulfill all the desires of the son of the king of the cowherd men. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet. So, in this verse, we can see that the description of Srimati Radharani is given here. And as we know that another name for Radharani is Gaurangi, which means golden, or the color of molten gold, which is actually when gold is melted, it is white in color rather than yellow. So very, very white and fair. So her complexion is that of a lotus flower, white lotus flower, and which has a golden complexion, shining golden complexion. So Gaurangi, the word Gaurangi describes this quality of Radharani, and because her lotus feet is pink, she has pink lotus feet. So her description here is given as a golden lotus flower anointed with a tinge of red kumkum. So her lotus lips, her feet, they're all pink and reddish, like a kumkum color. So that's why the description of her beauty is that of a golden lotus flower anointed with a tinge of red kumkum. And the fragrance, her body is always fragrant, and her fragrance is such that it attracts the senses of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, who is the king of the cowherd men. Now, who is Krishna? Another name for Krishna is Rishikesh. What is the meaning of Rishikesh? One who attracts our senses. That's why Krishna is so attractive. You know, another word for the meaning of the word Krishna is
All it.
Apasatiti iti Krishna. So he attracts everyone, attracts the senses of everyone. So he is Rishikesha, means he is master of his senses. But his senses are completely attracted by Radharani. So the fragrance of her body is such that, again, example is the aroma that comes from a lotus flower, but sprinkled with saffron powder, kesher. So this is the uh, description of her uh, beauty. Next verse.
रविन्दकान्ति निन्दि चित्रपट्टशाटिका कृष्णमत्त भृङ्गकेलिपुल्ल पुष्पवाटिका कृष्ण नित्य सङ्गमाठ पद्मबन्धुराधिका मह्यमात्मपाद पद्मदास्य दास्तु राधिका.
So, translation. Her amazing and colorful silken garments make the splendor of red coral feel ashamed. She's a garden of blossoming flowers where the maddened bumblebee named Krishna performs amorous pastimes. She worships the sun god daily in order to attain the continual association of her beloved Krishna. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet. So, here the description of her clothes, what she wears. So here it is said that her beautiful silken garments are so wonderful that even the red coral, it's like the coral is so beautiful. People make, so many jewelry of red coral, right? And the color of red coral is so natural red, and it's very, very attractive. So usually actually said that Radharani, she loves to wear blue. But here it's said that her amazing, colorful silken garments make the splendor of red coral feel ashamed. So here it's described that her dress is red. And she is like a garden of blossoming flowers where the maddened bumblebee named Krishna performs amorous pastimes. Krishna has another name, which is Madhu, you know. So he is compared to a bumblebee. And there is a whole chapter dedicated in the Bhagavatam where Radharani is having a whole conversation with a bumblebee, where she's comparing the bumblebee to Krishna. So all the gopis, and the crest jewel of all the gopis is Radharani. They are compared to flowers, and Krishna, because he loves the gopis, and the just like how a bumblebee becomes so maddened and so attracted to the flowers that he goes, just like a bumblebee goes from each flower to flower and takes the nectar from each flower, and then that bumblebee collects all the nectar, and from that nectar comes the most wonderful honey that we all really love. It's the most sweetest thing in the creation. So Krishna is like that Madhu. And another name for Krishna is also Madhav, right? Madhav, is it related to Madhu? Or so
Madhav is Fortune, husband of
okay, okay,
Fortune.
Madhu. But I don't know. He's also known as Madhu, right? Because
Madhusudana.
Madhu
Because
was a demon. No, there was a demon
Madhu
named
and
Madhu.
Kaitava. So Madhu
Yeah.
was killed.
But Madhu is another name for Krishna because he is compared to the bumblebee. There is one beautiful pastime where Krishna and Radharani are there, and a bumblebee comes near her, and she immediately starts, feeling the, and somebody says, oh, the bumblebee has gone, or some. Have you heard this pastime?
No.
And Radharani goes into so much feelings of separation, Somebody says Madhu has gone. And even though Krishna is sitting right next to her, she feels so much separation from Krishna, who is Madhu, the bumblebee. She feels so much separation that she cries torrents and torrents of tears, and her tears flows and flows out of her love for and love of separation from Krishna. That there is a whole pond that is formed, with her tears, and it's called Prem Sarovar. So it's there near Barsana. So uh, Krishna loves Radharani and is attracted to her, and Radharani loves Krishna and is equally attracted to Krishna. So, and in order to, and her love is so much that so that she can always be with Krishna, she's always doing some pujas and vratas, and, like there are so many, every day she goes and worships sun god. There is a Surya Narayan temple in Raj where all the gopis used to go every day, and all the other people pray to the sun god for many material things, but the only things they would pray for, that we pray that we will always remain in the association of Krishna and we can enjoy his loving association. That was their only prayer. And they also did the Katyayani Vrat, which is a very difficult Vrat. All of them were worshipping Mother Katyayani, the goddess Katyayani. And the only aim for doing that was to get Krishna as their husband. That's the devotion of Radha and all the gopis. So we beg that we get the service of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, who has this intense desire, to always serve Krishna, to please Krishna, and always has this intense laulyam, like this greed, to always remain in the association of devotee. So we should beg that we also get a drop of this quality that she has here. She is like a flower. Now, our body, what God has given us, our youth, our energy, whatever energy is left in our body, is like a flower, like a blossoming flower. Whatever we have, that is to be offered at the lotus feet of Krishna. You offer blossoming flowers, you don't offer murjhaya flowers to Krishna, right? So our consciousness should be like this, how the gopis and Radharani, they wanted to be like flowers so that the bumblebee of Krishna can come and enjoy them. So we should have that same consciousness. So we beg, so we beg to Radharani for this mercy. Third verse.
Kaukumarya Srishta Pallavali Kirti Nigraha Chandra Chandanoppalendu Sevya Sita Vigraha Swami Marsha Pallavisha Kamatapa Badika Mahyamatma Pada Padmadasya Dastu Radhika. Please let me serve at your lotus feet, Sri Radhika.
Her charming youthful delicacy negates the fame of the freshly sprouted leaves. Her refreshing form is worthy of being served by the cooling moon. Sandalwood paste, lotus flowers, and camphor. When she touches the master of the gopis, she dispels the burning heat of his lusty desires. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet. So her body and her form and her youth, everything is of complete surrender to Krishna. In fact, Radharani's birth itself, was such that at birth she didn't even open her eyes because she did not want to enjoy anything in in this world till she saw Krishna, till she opened her eyes and saw Krishna. She did not want to see anything of this world. So she, everything that she has, her beauty, her qualities, her everything is meant for serving Krishna. So here, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying that she's so beautiful, she's so delicate, so komal, gentle, just like freshly sprouted leaves. If you have seen a leaf which is just sprouting very small and very thin, if you touch those leaves, you can see that it's so delicate. If you if you touch it harshly, it will even get crushed. It's like so delicate. And her form is compared to a golden lotus flower anointed with a tinge of here Radharani is compared to uh, her refreshing form is worthy, sorry, of being served by the cooling moon, by sandalwood paste, lotus flowers, and camphor. So it is so beautiful that even the it is like cooling like the moon. If you go to see, everything is cooling. Sandalwood paste, camphor, they're all, it gives very cooling effect. So it's like as if she's compared to everything that is, which can give you, relief. Just like in summertime, everybody is like waiting. When will the sun go? And in the evening, as soon as the moon rises, everyone feels like relief from that hot sun in the summer, right? The moon rays are supposed to be so soothing and cooling from that hot sun in the day. Similarly, sandalwood paste, suppose you have boils, heat boils, the best thing you can do is put sandalwood paste or chandan, to cool down the skin. So in the earlier days, chandan was put on the forehead so that, your head remains cool. It's supposed to be the coolest thing for the body. Similarly, lotus flower and camphor is also very cooling. So why is it that she's compared to all these cooling things? Because she can give relief to Krishna. She's the only one who can give relief to Krishna. When Krishna is going through the pangs of sufferings, the burning heat of his lusty desires. Now, here, lusty desires is not like our lusty desires in this material world. You cannot think that the word lusty desires is same as what we see in this material world. When Krishna has this intense loving feelings towards Radharani, it is like so intense. It's like burning, 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 burns his body. And it is pure love. It's pure lust, actually. You can say lust in this material world is also contaminated lust. Why? Because in this world, any kind of lusty desires is contaminated by ego, contaminated by our self enjoyment. But why Krishna's desires is not lusty desires, is pure lust? Because it's not contaminated by ego and it's not contaminated by any selfishness. It is pure love of the Supreme Lord with his most dearest devotees. So she's the only one who can satisfy Krishna. Here we are all suffering because of our lusty desires in this world. We want relief. Why? Because you know lust or the god of love is Madan. And the only one who can subdue god of love, Cupid, is Krishna, Madan Mohan. There is a pastime in Vrindavan where Kamadev, he approached Krishna and Krishna completely overpowered him also. He couldn't control his senses. And he started running after Krishna. He was so attracted when he saw Krishna. So Madan Mohan is Krishna is completely so powerful. So his beauty is so much, his attraction is so much that even Kamadev cannot, resist him. So, but she is Madan Mohan Mohini. She can even attract Krishna, who is attracted Madana, who is the god of love or Kamadev. So, such Srimati Radharani, who is so powerful that she can attract even Krishna. That's why in Vrindavan, nobody says Hare Krishna or Krishna Krishna much. They only say Radhe Radhe. Why? Because they know that if you chant Radhe Radhe, Krishna will automatically come there. You don't have to do anything separately because he's so attracted to Radharani. Because she's Madan Mohan Mohini. And why? Because she has these beautiful cooling qualities. So we also should pray that somehow we should imbibe these qualities of being, you know, delicate, that is gentle, loving, and cooling and soothing qualities, which will, like the sandalwood paste, like lotus flower, like camphor, we should try to imbibe these qualities of Radharani because if we become mild and gentle and loving, that will attract the heart of Krishna, just like how Radharani is attracting. Next slide.
विश्ववन्द्ययवताभिवन्दिता पियारमा रूपनव्य यौवनादिसम्पदानयत्समा शीलहाटलीलया च सायतोऽस्ति नादिका मह्यमात्मपादपद्मदास्य दास्तु राधिका.
Although the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi is adored by other youthful goddesses who are themselves glorified throughout the universe, still, she is nowhere near Sri Radhika in the matter of beauty, praiseworthy youthfulness, or other divine feminine opulences. There is no one in the material or the spiritual worlds that is superior to Radhika in the expression of naturally loving pastimes. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet. There is a pastime during the uh, even the Ras Leela that when Krishna was in the forest and dancing with the gopis, Lakshmi Devi saw the came to know this and she also wanted to take part in this most intimate, uh, Rasalila pastime. And she was denied entrance into the Rasalila. Why? Because she couldn't leave her Aishwarya bhav. Lakshmi is Aishwarya Lakshmi, right? She has this opulence of, you know, being, you know, very, very opulent with all the. So Lakshmi Devi is worshipped by the whole world, but she's, she's chanchal. She doesn't stick in anybody's hand. And only place where she sticks is with Krishna, where she's always serving Lord Vishnu's lotus feet by massaging his lotus feet. So in this world, everybody is after Lakshmi. We do Lakshmi Puja. Everyone does Lakshmi Puja. Why? Because they want prosperity. Now, Lakshmi just does not mean wealth. Lakshmi Devi also means prosperity, abundance, happiness, in every way, So even Lakshmi Devi is something here, it's compared here, though she is worshipped by so many goddesses or looked up by so many goddesses themselves, but she cannot compare to Srimati Radhika, Radharani. Actually, Sri Radha is the source and she is the original, and from her comes all the different Lakshmis. And the proof of that is that Lakshmi Devi was not allowed entrance into the Rasalila because Krishna, you know, is attracted by the simplicity that is in the heart of Radharani and not the opulence of, opulence of external opulence. So Lakshmi Devi couldn't give up her Aishwarya Bhav. So, the quality of the gopis, the greatest quality which attracts Krishna is their simplicity. Like there's a whole story of how Krishna wanted to test the love, of his gopis, to test the love of his devotees. So he started acting as if he has such a severe headache. And he told Narad Muni, go and tell all my devotees, whoever says they love me, that I'm having an headache and only the dust from their lotus feet will relieve my headache. And so Narad Muni goes to each one, even he goes to Lakshmi Devi and all the Lakshmis, and Lakshmi Devi, she says, no, 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 I worship Lord Vishnu, I press his lotus feet and, massage his lotus feet, but I can't give him the dust of my feet. It's like as if I'm putting my feet on his head. So I don't want to do this, because she was in that Aishwarya Bhav. She has that, maryadas, that limitations. But when he went to the gopis, as soon as he said that Krishna has got headache and he wants the dust from your feet, immediately all the gopis came in a huddle, came all scrubbing their feet and collecting the dust from everyone's feet. And they collected and immediately gave it to Narad Muni without a second's delay, without even thinking. So that's the quality of, the Radharani, is that she's very, very simple and she has this divine feminine qualities, which is very, very pleasing to Krishna. So there is no one in the material or spiritual world that is superior to Radhika in the expression of naturally loving pastime. So their love, the Radharani and gopis, they love Krishna naturally. Naturally meaning in a very simple way, without thinking, without using your mind, without using your intelligence, without using all these barriers. It can, they can be like barriers for love. If you think too much, if you have, try to uh, always be too rational. Gopis are very, very natural. They have this natural love for Krishna. And so much that, their Maharaj was saying in his lecture that they are always cursing. Why did Brahmaji create these eyelids on our eyes? Why does the eyelids have to close? Because, we are not able to see Krishna, even for that millisecond that our eyes blink. So that's how natural their love is. Like we are meditating, we have to force our minds to focus so that we can remember Krishna. Whereas the Radharani and gopis, their love is so natural that they have to force, they have to focus their mind to remove Krishna from their minds. It's the opposite. They struggle so much just to remove Krishna from their mind. And we are like struggling when we will remember Krishna. So that's like a natural flowing, just like how a river flows, naturally to the sea. Their love flows naturally. That's why Krishna is attracted to Radharani and the gopis. So we beg to Radharani that somehow we should get this natural love for Krishna without using our gyan, without using our philosophy, without showing off our intelligence, like, our Aishwaryas that we have showing off. If we don't give up all that, we will never really experience that, love, true love for Krishna. So we have to pray to Radharani for that. Thank you. Go to the next verse.
Hare Krishna. रासलास्य गीत नर्म सत्कलालि पंडित प्रेम रम्य रूप वेश सद्गुणालि मंडित विश्वनव्य गोपयोषितालि तूपिकादिका मह्यमात्म पाद पद्म दास्य दास्तु राधिका.
So she is very learned in many transcendental arts, such as performing in the rasa dance, singing, and joking. She is decorated with many divine qualities, such as loving nature, exquisite beauty, and wonderful garments and ornaments. Even among the cowherd damsels of Raja, who are praised by the entire universe, she is the best in every way. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet. So, even during the Rasa dance, it is said in the Bhagavatam. In the entire Bhagavatam, Radharani's name is never taken directly, you know, because Shukdev Goswami is he's in such separation from Radharani that he never takes his name in the entire Bhagavatam. Because if he will take the name of Radharani, then he'll get so overwhelmed with emotion that he will not be able to continue, So he is just very, in a very roundabout, in a very, very indirect way, he takes the name of Aradhita. That's the word he uses in Bhagavatam for Radharani as the one who is the most worshipable and who is the uh, object of worship for Krishna himself, or something like that. Aradhita. That's the word he uses for Radharani. So she is actually the best among all the gopis. So she is actually the one whom Krishna, takes her separate from the gopis because he wants to exclusively spend time with Radharani. So she is the best because the gopis have all these qualities, but Krishna has 64 qualities, but Radharani has more qualities than Krishna also. She's more, she's full of all these beautiful qualities which are very, very attractive to Krishna. And when Krishna takes away Radharani and he's lost, and the gopis are not able to see, it is said in the Shastras, in the Bhagavatam, that there is a tinge of pride which comes in the gopis. Because when they are with Krishna, they start thinking that because everyone feels as if Krishna is only with them, each one of them. So everyone becomes very proud to one extent and feels that, oh, Krishna is only with me. But as soon as pride comes into the heart, Krishna disappears from everyone's vision. So Krishna is in each one of our hearts. He's actually there with each one of us. But we have to understand that pride is not attractive to Krishna at all. The only thing which is attractive to Krishna is, all these beautiful qualities that Radharani has. And what is that? She has divine qualities such as loving nature, exquisite beauty, and wonderful garments and ornaments. So her loving nature is such that she is very, very, she, she has no problem in sharing Krishna with everyone. So with all the gopis, she has no pride in her heart. She wants to share. She's happy that Krishna is with all the gopis. So she is the best in every way. So we pray to Radharani that begging for those qualities. See, we may all have many qualities, but if we use those qualities in the material world, then it's of no use. If we use those qualities in the service of Krishna, then we can get purified. Just like how Radharani is using everything best that she has in the service of Krishna, and without any pride. Because the only thing is, as soon as we use these material qualities for for our benefit in the material world, then there will 100% be pride. So we will not be able to attract Krishna. So we beg to Radharani to so that we can get a drop of these divine qualities that she has. Next verse.
Mataji, the sixth one or fifth one?
No,
We
fifth
did
is
the
done.
fifth one. Nityanamya Rupa Keli Krishna Bhava Sampada Krishna Raga Bandha Gopayavvateshu Kampada Krishna Rupa Vesha Keli Lagna Sat Samadhika Mahyam Atmapada Padmadasya Dasturadhika.
She possesses the opulences of eternal youthful beauty, eternal pastimes, and eternal love for Krishna. Her ecstatic feelings of love for Krishna cause the gopis who are also in love with Krishna to tremble. She's always attached to meditating on Sri Krishna's beautiful form, ornaments, garments, and pastimes. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet. So it is said that the Radharani and all the gopis, they are, their love for Krishna uh, is is so much, and the example or the proof of that is when Krishna played the flute. Just now we celebrated Rasa Purnima few days back, and on that day, Krishna wanted to test the love of the gopis, and he went into the middle of the forest, the most darkest part of the forest in the middle of the night, and he started playing the flute, the fifth note of the flute. And when it is said that when Krishna plays the flute, even the stones melt. What to speak of, people's hearts? They get the stone starts melting. The animals go, get so attracted. The birds stop even chirping and making any sound. He started playing the flute, and as soon as he started playing the flute, the effect of the Krishna's flute was such on the gopis that every gopi literally actually froze, and for that second, it's like all their rational mind, their thinking, everything stopped, and only thing that they could feel was this intense pull, attraction of the love of Krishna. And it was so intense, it was so strong that they left everything that they were doing in that second. As soon as those sound went into the ears, immediately they dropped everything that was there in their hands. Somebody was serving rice to their husband and their mother-in-law and father-in-law. They just dropped the pot and started running. Somebody was dressing up for the night, dressing up to sleep, and they had just combed their hair one side and the other side was left. They just started running. Some people were feeding their child. They just dropped the child and they ran out. Somebody was, so whatever state, whatever they were doing, they just left the house right in front of the family members. They just started running into the forest. So, their love for Krishna, was tested on that day. And they proved to Krishna that their love is so strong, and that their ecstatic feelings of separation that they felt from Krishna was so strong that nothing could stop them. So Krishna, like here it is said that seeing Radharani's ecstatic feelings for Krishna, all the gopis also, they would start trembling in love for Krishna. So it was like so mutual, so powerful. And each one of them was constantly, always, they were attached to meditating on Krishna. Just like I said, that they were always meditating on Krishna. It's like for them, it was the other way around. No other thing in this world was of importance to them. No other thought, oh, when do I go now for my parlor, or when do I go next? No, they didn't have any thought of their self or their family. So that was the greatness of, it is like the highest. So it is said that when Krishna left the gopis and went, in their separation, they started acting out all of Krishna's pastimes. They started dressing like Krishna sometimes. They started among themselves acting out all the pastimes, talked like Krishna, walked like Krishna. So they were so always meditating on his beautiful form, his garments, his ornaments, and his pastimes. That's the greatest quality of these devotees. So, anyone, if you want to know who is really attracted to Krishna, how do we come to know whether somebody is really attracted to Krishna? Is that they will always be constantly chanting the holy names, they will have constantly meditating on the pastimes, they will have this natural attraction to discussing and chanting and the holy names. So that's the test, for us, because right now we are struggling to forget all our attachments in this world. We are not able to. Our attachments are so strong in this material world that to forget them and to put our minds in Krishna is so difficult. So we should beg at the lotus feet of Radharani that somehow we can, get over our attachments and, at least make up our mind that whatever remaining part of our life is left, that we get more and more attached to Krishna's holy names, his beauty, his pastimes, his garments, you know, just get attracted and meditate on it. Thank you. Next verse.
That is seventh one.
Seven.
स्वेदकम्पकण्टकाश्रुगद्गदादिसञ्चिता मर्षहर्षवामतादिभावभूषणाञ्चिता कृष्णनेत्रतोषिरत्नमण्डनादिदादिका मह्यमात्मपादपद्मदास्य दास्तु राधिका.
She is graced with 8 ecstatic symptoms, sattvika bhava, such as trembling, perspiring, standing upon bodily hairs, tears, faltering of the voice, and so forth. She is adorned with different ecstatic emotional ornaments, such as impatience, joy, contrariness, and so forth. She is decorated with beautiful jewels that give total delight to the eyes of Krishna. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet. So, there is only one person in this world who has this highest level of bhakti, that is bhava. And higher than bhava is mahabhava. So only Radharani and I think Madhavendra Puri had this mahabhav stage. They have reached the stage of mahabhav. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also exhibited these Ashta Vikara. They are ecstatic symptoms where a person who has this uh, divine connection with Krishna expresses his love in the form of these 8 ecstatic symptoms. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his later years, when he was in Jagannath Puri, in the last 18 years of his life, where he was completely in the mood of Radharani in the Mahabhav stage, and constantly he was experiencing all these ecstatic symptoms of love and ecstatic feelings in separation from Lord Krishna. So, trembling, perspiring, standing up on bodily hairs, tears, faltering of the voice. We all have also experienced all this, but in different situations. Definitely not, out of love for Krishna. So this is like her ornaments. These ecstatic emotional feelings for Krishna are the beauty, the ornaments on her personality or her character, because she is adorned by all these qualities of feelings of separation from Lord Krishna. She is constantly in the feelings of separation. There is a pastime, it's so funny that Krishna is sitting next to her, but still she is in so much feelings of separation sometimes, you know, because of her love for Krishna. So she she has all these qualities which are like also contradictory. Sometimes Krishna, Radharani has some kind of qualities which may appear opposite, like impatience and anger. Like there is a whole pastime which is called as Man Leela, where Krishna, Radharani acts opposite, contrary to her nature, which is she gets angry, she rejects Krishna. She, like in that whole bumblebee conversation, she's actually calling such bad names to Krishna. But all this is not for with the intention, rather it is the only intention of that is to give pleasure to Krishna, to make Krishna more attracted to her. So there is this Man Leela pastime, which is very attractive. Uh, so the story goes like this, that and the Man Leela is such that, and this I heard recently from somebody who is from Braj and who knows all this pastime, which is very attractive, that the Man Leela, because as I said, it gives a lot of pleasure to Krishna. So it is actually, it's all decided amongst Krishna and Radharani that when Radharani will go into Man meaning getting upset with Krishna. So one day, Radharani tells Krishna that should I only get upset always and you come to, uh, pacify me and manau me. One day, even I want you to go into Man. You get upset and I will manau you. Krishna says, no, let it be. Let it be the way it is. You get angry and I will come and try to pacify you and, talk to you lovingly. And she said, no, I want you to get upset once. So, so it is decided that Krishna will get upset with Radharani. So, so the whole pastime starts that Krishna is, both of them are looking in the mirror, at each other. And Krishna asks, who do you think among both of us, who is more beautiful? And Radharani starts laughing. He says, you know, ये भी कोई पूछने की बात है, obviously I am the most beautiful, like my beauty is compared to the moon and, all this. You are so dark and black. You are like as dark as the night. So how can you say you are beautiful? And immediately Krishna gets very upset. He says, how can you call me dark and black? And he says, I don't want to talk to you. And he gets angry and he sits in one corner. And Radharani starts going to him and starts manifying him and trying to pacify him. She goes home, makes some very tasty sweet rice and brings and gives it to him. He doesn't even look at her. So she, it's late in the evening, she goes back home. She thinks tomorrow again I will try, to somehow. So she goes and she, says, I'm sorry, I said all these bad things. I called you black. I should not have done that. I'm sorry. Please, please start talking. But Krishna just turns his back and doesn't even talk to Radharani. Now she starts getting more and more nervous, she again cooks something and brings, to give him to eat, and he just doesn't even eat or look in her direction. So it's like 3 days passes, and then now Radharani just cannot tolerate. She starts crying and crying, and she sits near Yamuna river, and she's continuously crying, and she cannot even control her tears. So much that Yamuna Devi sees her, and she says, who is giving you so much pain? She comes out and she tells, who is giving you so much pain? She says, Krishna is not talking to me last 3 days. So Yamuna Devi says, we must teach him a lesson. So Yamuna Devi dresses herself exactly like Krishna, the same murli, the same dress, the same walking style, the same, her appearance is exactly like Krishna. And she says, now I will go, we will teach Krishna a lesson, that how for 3 days he has not, agreed to talk to you, and he's giving you so much pain. My only condition to you is that when I call you, you know, you you straight come to me when I call you. And she says, okay. So Yamuna Devi, dressed as Krishna and looking exactly like Krishna, goes where Krishna is doing Man Leela, and she sees Krishna, and Krishna sees him and says that, who are you? You look exactly like me. She's saying, I'm Krishna. Say, but I am Krishna. She said, who said you are Krishna? Saying, I'm saying, he's saying, you are just an imposter. I am the real Krishna. So he says, no, I have the flute. So she says, even I have the flute. So I have the morpunk. He said, even I have the morpunk. I can play the flute so well. So even she plays the flute very well. And that time now Krishna is becoming more and more nervous. She says, go get out from here. I am the real Krishna. You are not the real Krishna. So Krishna gets, really worried that now how will I prove to everyone that I am the real Krishna and not this imposter? So he thinks, okay, there's only one way I can prove, and then he gets nervous that, oh my God, the only one way I could have proved is that if Radharani, would be here around, I would have called her and she would have come running to me. She will recognize me as her Krishna. So he says, I have Radharani. So Yamuna says, who is dressed as Krishna, even I have Radharani. You want to test? Call Krishna Radharani. And immediately they both start calling out Radharani. And Radharani runs and comes to Yamuna Devi, dressed as Krishna, and hugs him and says, oh, my Krishna has called me, my Krishna has called me. Now Krishna becomes so nervous, he holds his head and he just kind of sits down. Say, how come now? Even Radharani is gone to him. Now, how will I prove that, I am Krishna? And he becomes so nervous and he starts crying and crying. And then Radharani laughs and she says that we were just joking with you. And Krishna learns a lesson. He says, after this, I will never, never go into Man Leela. It's better you only go into Man Leela and I will I'll always pacify you and, show my love to you so that you become happy. So that way, Krishna is so attracted with Radharani because she has all these different qualities, which is so attractive to Krishna. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you
We'll go to
much.
the next group.
याक्षणार्थ कृष्णविप्रयोगसन्ततोदितानेकदैन्यचापलादिभाववृन्दमोदिता यत्नलब्धकृष्णसङ्गनिर्गताखिलादिका मह्यमात्मपादपद्मदास्य दास्तु राधिका.
If she's apart from Krishna for even half a moment, she becomes stricken with wretched suffering, just like how I described in this pastime. She becomes stricken with wretched suffering, restlessness, and a multitude of other ecstatic symptoms of separation. When she regains the association of Krishna after some effort, then all of her anguish immediately vanishes. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet. So this pastime that I told about this Krishna going into Man Leela, perfectly describes this verse where she cannot remain apart from Krishna even for half a moment. For them, like the description is given in the Bhagavatam that one moment seems like 12 yugas or something like that. I forgot what it is, but so immediately, as soon as she gets Krishna's association, then all of her anguish immediately goes away. So she's showing us that, how one should be always taking shelter of Krishna through all the suffering that we go through. Our suffering, wretched suffering that we go through is due to our own karma, which we have brought upon ourselves. And it is the suffering in this material world is what keeps us, here in this material world. But when we take shelter of Krishna, we can get relief from that anguish. Krishna, it's described that samsara dava nala leada loka tranaya karunya ghana ganatvam. That there, the compassion and the love that we can receive from Krishna can give complete solace to us from all the sufferings of this material world. Is the only thing which can give. So Radharani is, showing by her own example how to be a devotee, how to take shelter of Krishna, and how to have this unconditional love for Krishna. So we pray to Radharani to give us her mercy. Hare Krishna. Next verse. Ashtakena, yes.
Sorry, Mataji, it was muted. अष्टकेन यस्त्वनेन नौति कृष्णवल्लभाम् दर्शनेऽपि शैलजातियोषिडालिदुर्लभाम् कृष्णसङ्गनन्दितात्मदास्यसीदुभाजनम् तं करोति नन्दिताडिसञ्चया सुसाजनम् मह्यमात्मपादपद्मदास्य दास्तु राधिका. Please let me serve at your lotus feet, Shri Radhika. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
It is very difficult for Parvati and other exalted goddesses to attain even a glimpse of Srimati Radharani, who is dear to Lord Krishna. But if someone glorifies her by reciting these 8 verses, then she who is delighted by Krishna's continuous association will grant the sweet nectar of her personal service to that person, who thereby enters the assembly of her similarly delighted girlfriends. So, there are many, many goddesses who are like craving to come somehow into the pastimes of Braja, Vrindavan. Lord Shiva also wanted to come, and he had to take a form of a gopi to enter into the pastimes of Krishna. So Parvati and all other goddesses, there is one place we just went in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Navadvip called Simantadvip, and that's the place where Parvati was meditating for thousands of years just to get entrance into Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, because Lord Chaitanya is non-different from Krishna and Radha together. So Parvati got the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, and there she received that blessing, and she was so overwhelmed to get this mercy from Lord Chaitanya that she put the dust of Lord Chaitanya's feet on her in her parting, hair parting, Simanta. That's why it's known as Simanta Dweep. So these these eight verses, which is glorifying Lord Radharani, is, the blessing that we receive by just reciting these eight verses every day, glorifying Radharani, is that it will give us entrance into the sweet nectar of the association of Radharani and service to her lotus feet. So she's such a great devotee. She's, always serving others. But if we chant these verses, then she will grant us the service to her lotus feet. And that is the topmost blessing that we can get, because that is the only way that we can get Krishna's mercy. So we beg and pray through this beautiful Radhikashtakam that we can always be engaged in devotional service, and we continue aspiring for the lotus feet of Radharani and Krishna, and they shower their causeless mercy on us, though we are not qualified. We are not qualified to do the bhakti. Actually, we are very, very. It's like we are Kali Yuga products. We are born in the age of Kali Yuga, so you can imagine that we have come with such, karma. It's like as if we are criminals, and criminals getting such a great benediction or blessing of Radharani's mercy. It's like, you cannot even compare. So just by chanting these 8 verses sincerely, we can get that mercy. So thank you very much, Hare Krishna, for giving us this opportunity to discuss this beautiful bhajan.
Thank you, Mataji. You had told so many different pastimes so nicely. Thank you so much, Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sita Mataji. Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Matajis. Both Matajis, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So sweet. So many times we can hear Radhikashtakam.
Any questions? Anyone can please share something or whatever. 2-3 minutes.
Mataji, what is the difference between Bhava and Mahabhava? Do you know, Mataji?
Mahabhava is the highest, which only Radharani has.
But I mean, more than 8 symptoms, like the normal Bhava, they say 8 ecstatic symptoms. In Mahabhava, is there something? I mean, there is something more, but I don't know what.
We don't know in words what is extra. But it's like you can understand that only Radharani can have Mahabhava.
And Bhav, you said Madhavendra Puri, Mataji, you said 2 more people have Bhava.
I heard only 2 people have those symptoms of Mahabhava. That is
Madhavendra Puri.
Radharani and Madhavendra Puri exhibited. Madhavendra Puri exhibited at the end of his life when he was leaving his life.
Mataji, you also said Uddhav, na?
No.
Oh.
Uddhav didn't have Mahabhava stage of.
Thank you, Mataji.